Here are 6 mistakes to avoid when you're calculating the quote for a commercial cleaning contract that could cost you the deal. So you're gonna learn what they are and what you can do instead. If you don't know who I am, I'm Matt, your 7-figure commercial cleaning CEO. I built our commercial cleaning company from scratch with the help of an incredible team that we built along the way. If you want more information on how we can help you build your commercial cleaning company or more free resources on building your commercial cleaning company, check out the links down below. Okay, so one of the most difficult struggles that I see commercial cleaning business owners having is how to go about pricing so that they can win deals, but win them profitably. And this is because there's not a clear benchmark in anybody's market for what the price for commercial cleaning services should be. It's unlike Walmart, where you can go in and see the product on some shelf and compare products, prices, value offerings, or anything like that. You can't do that with commercial cleaning. It is all very customized. And what ends up happening is even experienced commercial cleaning business owners can make serious mistakes with their pricing that's costing them business, and maybe it's been costing you business for years. So what you're about to see are those mistakes so that you can avoid them and instead start winning more commercial cleaning contracts. Okay, here's the first mistake, and it's rooted around a burning question that just about every single commercial cleaning business owner that I've interacted with has. And that's simply, what is the rate per square foot in my market? And I get it, because then what that means is we can simply take the square footage measurement of any building and say, oh, it's 20 cents per square foot for a 10,000 square foot building, so that'd be $2,000 a month. Easy quote, right? And that's the mistake. We're drawn to the simplicity of an idea of a simple price per square foot number. And that'll in turn lead us over to an overly simplified approach to quoting the cleaning for a building. Because in reality, what ends up happening is in some scenarios, you're overpriced, even at what might seem like a low price per square foot. And in other scenarios, you're underpriced. Here's an example. Here in Asheville, our largest client is over 1 million square feet. And if I were to break down the pricing per square foot on that facility on a monthly basis, it'd be about 23 cents per square foot. So about $23,000 a month. But then we have another facility, for example, that is approximately 11,000 square feet, and we charge them about 45 cents per square foot. And then if you were to continue evaluating our buildings, we've got some that are in between those numbers and some that are even lower. So if I were to try to have a standard price per square foot, even industry-wide, right? If I have a medical price per square foot, if I have an industrial, if I have a general office, even then, I can oftentimes end up overpriced or underpriced. And if I'm overpriced, I'm most likely not going to win the deal. And if I do win the deal, then how long are they going to stay on as a client? But then if we underprice it, then we're either losing money or it's not worth our time to really manage it. And then quality goes down, we get poor reviews, and that hurts the company. So don't make the mistake of trying to price your quotes just on square footage. It can be an indicator. You can compare it to other square footage rates of other clients that you have or of any other scenarios that you know that might be similar, but you have to understand that every building is different. Every situation is a little bit more customized. So what are some other factors that go into this aside from price per square foot? Well, first, I would say the primary driver for what your quote should be what is your labor cost going to be to clean that building? Because labor in a commercial cleaning company is the biggest expense. So if you can accurately calculate how long a building will take to clean, then you have a much better chance of being dead on with your quote. Now, to help you out with that, I've included a quote calculator that's in the link down below. And just a quick note on the calculator, it's there to help you have another guide. It's not the final number that you should pick. It's still there to help you judge the scenario and maybe bring you closer to a number that makes more sense. And these other factors are going to be ones that directly affect your labor cost. The first is going to be, how many shifts do they need? Are they just evening? Do they need daytime? Do they need third shift? Do they need all 3 of those shifts, or just 2 of them, or just 1? The next will be what's called density of the amount of square footage in the facility. How much of it is actually cleanable? How much of it are you actually responsible for? And then of that space, how much of it is high density bathrooms, right? You've got maybe a single unit bathroom. That's nothing compared to a 10 unit bathroom where it has 10 toilets in it. And then the next factor will be frequency. Are you just cleaning once a week, or are you cleaning 7 days per week in this facility? And finally is going to be your actual market cost. This is where you can actually get a better gauge, because you can look on Indeed, you can use PayScale, you can use several different online resources, and you can know whenever you're hiring as well what your response from the market is by applicants based on the hiring wage you're trying to bring employees on at. So those employment costs and hourly costs are essential to know, because once you find out how long the building can take, then you can apply your cost cost per hour to that, or however you're going to configure that, and then you can do your markup. So that's the first mistake. Do not quote just on a price per square foot. Instead, find your cost to do the services in that building by finding out how long it's going to take, and then you can go from there. Now, the second mistake is simple, but it will cost you enormously. What many, especially new commercial cleaning business owners, don't realize whenever they look at a calendar over the course of a year is that each month actually does not have 4 weeks in it. Instead, if we take the total amount of weeks in every single year, which will be 52 weeks, and then divide that by 12 months, we're going to get the number 4.33333333. What this essentially means is that there's an extra week every single 3 months, which when you translate that to the course of an entire year, that means there's a whole extra 4-week period every single year. Now, when calculating your quote, let's say it's going to be $200 a day that you're going to charge a client for cleaning, and they've got cleanings going on 5 days per week, so $1,000 per week. If you were just to multiply that by 4 and get $4,000 per month, then you would actually be missing out on an extra $4,000 every single year because you're missing a whole month. So be sure that when you're calculating your quotes on a monthly basis, that you make sure that every single calendar year, you're actually charging for 13 4-week periods. The way that I like to calculate our monthly price that we present to a client is we get our weekly rate. That's easy, right? Whether it's 1 day a week, 5 days a week, 7 days a week. And then I multiply that weekly number by 4.33, and that equals the monthly number that we need to charge that's also going to cover that extra 4-week period that happens over the course of a year. So don't make the mistake of thinking that there's only 4 weeks per month. That'll end up costing you tremendously on your profitability every single year. The third mistake revolves around using the wrong wage to figure out what your cost is going to be. Let's say that in your commercial cleaning company, you have employees that are paid at a range from $16 per hour up to $20 per hour. If you're doing all of your quotes based on that $20 per hour mark, you're most likely going to be dramatically overpriced in your market. Within the commercial cleaning industry, team members need to be paid more whenever they are more valuable to the company and they offset the costs of their higher wage. Here's what that looks like. Either they're with you longer and you don't have to replace them, right? They're out there, they're cleaning, you can set it and forget it. That is a much better scenario than when you have to keep replacing somebody or a single role, and it costs you time, it costs you money in hiring and training and the hourly wages of your employees trying to train them, all those extra costs that happen in your company. Or it could also be this on top, they're just more productive, right? They get the job done well, but they do it more efficiently. And therefore, they're essentially saving you time, so they deserve to be paid more money. They could also be saving your company money by taking on some extra tasks along with their normal shifts. Maybe they help you out with some errands or some stuff in the office. So it's great if you want to pay your cleaners more, but your client's price needs to be based on the market rate. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to charge the same as a competitor, because you can start your employees a little bit higher because you're expecting a better person. You can also have more profit built in because your company is better run. There's different factors like that, but for you and your company, I would encourage you, and this is what we have been doing for years successfully, is basing our hourly cost that we're going to mark up in our quoting process. We're going to base it on what is the starting wage within our company. So don't make the mistake of unreasonably overpricing your quotes, and thus you will be losing opportunities just because you're basing it off of the wrong wage. Now, this fourth one is such a temptation. And it's because oftentimes when we go do our commercial cleaning walkthroughs, when we talk with these buildings that are in pain and they're in need, we think that they're just willing to pay almost anything to get us in there. And if we do our sales process right, price isn't going to be as much of a factor. But there is a point we need to realize that we're being absolutely unfair to the client. And what that looks like is taking a facility and knowing that you can do it, say, in 3 hours per clean, but you feel like that the client likes you so much, you're going to go ahead and price it at 4 hours per clean. Maybe you can make some extra profit along the way. You feel like they're going to choose you just about no matter what. Well, and this is my opinion, I don't believe that that is the best way to scale your commercial cleaning business, by milking clients one at a time. I believe that you grow by adding fair profit to your company account by account by account. And your focus should not be on how much can I squeeze out of this one building, because what we want to do, or what I encourage our students to do and what we do in our franchise, is we want to keep them forever. That's how we win in the long run, is by stacking up a mountain of book of businesses. And then we do a great job serving them at a fair price, and they stay forever. So the key here is know what your normal markup and profit is within your commercial cleaning company and stick to that as your benchmark. Number 5, and this somewhat links in with number 4 a little bit, with trying to do something unique for a specific client, or more like having a specific client pay the entire load for a certain expense. And the most common example of this is with insurance. I remember early on in our business, we got a request for a quote from a facility, but they had higher insurance requirements in order for us to actually win their business. So in order to win a deal with them, we had to increase our insurance coverage. And the temptation was to stack that entire expense just on that one client. Because we look at the scenario and we say, well, this client's causing me to spend all this extra money. But in reality, that insurance applies company-wide, and the expense of it is technically spread out across all of your clients. If we had gone to that client and had them pay for all of the expenses associated with that one insurance policy that it benefits everybody else, then it would have been a little unfair in my opinion. Because then we never had to increase our insurance again, and we've been able to successfully win other companies that also had those same insurance requirements. Now, to be clear, we did charge a little bit higher of a rate for them, and also we did not go to all of our other cleaning clients and make them pay more money just for that. You just have to come to the realization as a business owner that you're there for the long term to serve all these buildings that you currently have and the ones that are to come. So whenever you have a prospect or a client that introduces a need that you need to bring to the table, don't make them be the only one to pay for it. Sometimes it's something that you just need to add on to your business as a part of your company and absorb. Okay, now following along that same line of thinking here, it's so many times where I see different commercial cleaning business owners wanting to charge a whole lot more money up front whenever they win a contract. And what I'm not talking about is billing your clients up front. I completely believe in that. But what I am talking about is having a one-time heavy charge to cover equipment, to cover maybe a deep clean, anything that's going to cover your costs to get everything set up. Now, to be clear on this, there are some scenarios where that is absolutely necessary. But about for 90 to 95% of commercial cleaning contracts, what we do is we just build it in as a monthly rate. So we have a supply and an equipment cost that we build into our markup. And that's spread out over the course of a year and sometimes 2 years, depending on the kind of equipment that's involved in that facility. So instead of making your client pay $600 up front, and that being a major hurdle to them starting business with you, instead just spread it out as a $50 per month piece that's added into your quote. You don't even need to say that it's added in there. You just say, here's the price to produce services for your facility. Because again, we're in this for the long term. You're going to be getting paid anyways on the services with your markup. So you make a little bit less money during that first month getting everything going and the time you got to put in and the equipment you got to put there. But then you don't have to buy that equipment again many times for years. And so by the time it is time to buy those again, you've already collected more than you need in most common scenarios in order to make that happen. And you've had enough profit along the way and you're making plenty of money. Look, winning more commercial cleaning contracts and getting the price right is an art. And it is also a science. If you're ready to scale your commercial cleaning company to $1 million in recurring revenue and set it to run on less than 5 hours per week, just like mine has done, then check out the link down below where we can help you do just that. And I give you everything that you need. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe. And I actually filmed a video on a quote formula, which you can watch right here. So if I don't see you in the links down below where we can help you build your commercial cleaning company, then go check out that video.